Chapter 12. Dax had never considered himself an entrepreneur, simply because he had never envisioned having the means. Now that means had been bestowed upon him in such an unforeseen way, he grew into the position unpretentiously. It was as if he had been poor only to learn to be humble enough to appreciate wealth and not take it for granted. He was fortunate to be far away from anyone who had ever known him when he was poor. Although many questioned how he obtained his wealth, including his wife, he was able to fend off their curiosity by saying he made his money in the markets while living in New York, where, in fact, he never lived. Fred Larson mentored Dax in the banking business, while John Smith helped Dax in the ranching business. Dax, being smart enough to acknowledge that these two men knew what they were doing, chose to listen to and learn from them. He wanted to finish stocking his ranch with 700 cows and learn how to operate his acquisitions as profitable businesses. Rennie and Dax soon became good friends. Although neither had business experience or knew how the other obtained his money, both realized each came from poverty and now had means. Dax and Rennie were curious about where the other got their money, but neither wanted to share their story. Both were proud Irishmen with prolific senses of humor and near the same age, and their wives were becoming inseparable. Both men were driven to better themselves, spending hours talking and bouncing ideas off each other. It was obvious to both that the failure of wheat farms devastated the economy and created opportunities. Mines and lumber camps in close proximity needed food and supplies. They both agreed there was a pent-up demand for a complete general store stocked with groceries, meat, dry goods, and a hardware inventory. To understand where they could source products, the two couples drove from Conifer Cliffs through Missoula to the south end of the Bitterroot Valley, then to Butte, Helena, and Great Falls. They talked with farmers who could supply produce during the summer season and wholesalers who handled canned goods and hardware items. They queried freighters who could deliver goods, as well as railroad personnel who could deliver carloads of canned goods, hardware, and dry goods from all domestic locations. They met with potential customers at mining and lumber camps. They also met with ranchers, farmers, and small retailers. On this road trip, Dax made deals with and paid deposits to 3 different ranchers in the Bitterroot Valley to purchase 450 good Hereford cows and 8 horses. Rennie thought it made economic sense to ship Montana products to Florida and California and bring California and Florida products back to Montana. But he realized train carload quantities of most products were out of his financial reach. Rennie had so much to think about. When he returned to Conifer Cliffs, he spent time with Fred Larson at the bank to help him calculate the money he needed to grow his business safely. He looked at the abandoned slaughterhouse and meat market owned by Meadowlark County. He talked to Ted Nelson, the owner of the one small grocery store. Ted was willing to sell the grocery store and stay on to work there. By mid-September, Rennie had been in Montana for 3 weeks. He decided what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it. It was time to take the train back to Chicago, get his Model T, and move his money to Conifer Cliffs. Like Dax, he did not want anyone with him while moving his money. No one knew how much he had or where he got it, and that was how he wanted to keep it. This was one subject he would not confide in with anyone, including his wife. It was also time to move his and Marta's families out of Chicago. They could help run his business when he secured his money in Montana. He needed to find a house for his mother, sister, and brother, another for Marta's family, and still another for himself and Marta. Then, a thought came to him. He could remodel the old meat market building into 2 living quarters for Marta's family and his, and remodel the huge attic in the grocery store where Marta and he could live. Marta, we need to go back to Chicago. You can bring our families back to Conifer Cliffs by train. I will drive my car back here, and when we all get settled, we can make offers to buy the grocery store, meat market, and slaughterhouse. This will employ some of our family. If we also start a dairy, We should be able to give a job to everyone in the family who needs one, Rennie reasoned. I want to ride back to Conifer Cliffs in the car with you. Marta batted her eyes flirtatiously at Rennie. But you are the only one who can make sure everyone gets on the right trains. I need you to help them all, Rennie protested. We don't have time to deal with mistakes. Between my mom and your dad, anything could happen. You need to look after them on the long train trip. Okay, I understand. But I don't want to spend time without you, Marta whined. It will only be a few days, and we will be together again, Rennie assured her, giving Marta a squeeze. There are so many things we need to get done before winter sets in, and I need your help, Rennie stated matter-of-factly. I hope I can convince my family to come to Montana. I don't think any of them have ever thought of moving, Marta worried. They would be silly to turn down a better life they could have here, Rennie replied. It certainly would seem that way to me, but Colonel O'Malley doesn't like change, and he's pretty hard-headed. Yes, he is, but I think he may listen to his daughter, Rennie reasoned. I'll try to tell him how great it is out here. When do you want to leave? Marta asked. Sooner, the better. Maybe we can leave a few things at Polly's house when we check out of the hotel. Let's go over to the depot now and see if we can get tickets for the eastbound train for tomorrow or the next day. It will be good to see our families. I miss them so much. It will be nice to have them close to us, Marta said. I guess having your folks around will be okay now that we're married, and I don't have to take you home before 11 o'clock. I won't have to listen to your grumpy old man tell me what a virtuous young lady you are. Rennie chuckled. I think you will be protecting your young daughter the same way in the not-so-distant future, Marta winked, wanting to start a family. I suppose so, Rennie admitted.